Alright, welcome back. Now, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of information about how you can win in 2024, how you can make the most out of this year just using this one principle. Pretty much something that I'm trying to implement more in my life across any board, every aspect, which is basically just input over output, which is don't even worry about the output, just worry all about the input. If you're so focused on the input that you're just doing thing after thing after thing and you're just focusing on the right areas and just doing, the output comes later. Like, even if you look at business, for instance, or anything you want to do. Business, you do the work for the most part for the first couple years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, with no real sign of output, with no real sign of, I put in a ton of work. What happens with that is you're doing, and you're setting up for the output to come later. And eventually down the track, if you're not one of these people that give up, you eventually receive a massive significant amount of output in a small amount of time. And that's because you've built up so much input over such a long period that when it does come to finally receiving that output, it's in such large proportion. I think I got given the example of, look at Conor McGregor. He trained every single day for so long and he received nothing. Broke, but he kept going, broke, kept going. And then eventually, all the way at the end, right, he managed to then receive the output where he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. Now he has companies based in the billions of dollars, I'm pretty sure that guy's like net worth billionaire. So that just goes to show you, he did so much work behind the scenes without anything to then get paid at a later date a massive amount. So extrapolate that to your life. So say you're going to you're putting in work into a business right now and you're not receiving any proportion. If you just keep focusing on the input, you can't lose. It's only when you get stuck in thinking, oh, is this the right thing to do, and not making action, that's when you give up. That's when things get a little bit too difficult. If you're constantly focused on input and you're focused on action first, just doing, you can't lose. Eventually the output has to be the same. Even if you look at Newton's third law, and this is one that I was actually going to get tattooed on me, but it's super true. Like, look at Newton's third law. If you don't know what this is, it basically states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Now, that is for, I think he was studying objects or something like that. If you were to lift a ball up, hit the other side, it would be in proportion, basically. Now, you can basically extrapolate that across life. So anything you do, any input you do, there'll be an equal output. If you go to the gym every single day, the output of that is becoming extremely strong. If you put, a ton of time into business, well, then the output of that will be a bigger business and money, right? So you got to be thinking about, okay, as long as I just put in the input, if you put in a massive ton of input, like thousands and thousands of hours or hundreds of hours of input, on the other side of that, there'll have to be a significant output from that, right? That just makes sense if you want to follow Newton's third law, which would make sense. Let's just follow the laws of nature, right? So it's like, you don't really have to be gifted in anything. All these people, the only people that I ever hear are like, oh, but I'm not gifted in this, are the people that are not doing anything. Again, don't get caught in inaction. You want to be constantly doing input, action. You constantly want to be doing things. If you ever have a time to think about, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing for me to do, I don't know if this is working, you shouldn't be having those thoughts if you've not made yourself anything in that industry, right? If you've started something and you're not where you want to be yet, you shouldn't even be thinking about, I don't know if this is what I want to do, all this random shit, right? Get to the significant amount you wanted to get to, say $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, and then you can maybe take time and think about that stuff. But when you're at the start, people I talk to, they haven't even made $500 yet, and they're like, I don't know if this is the right path, I'm not gifted enough in this. I'm like, bro, how do you have enough time to think about this? Sit down, action, just action, input, right? For me, YouTube is one of these things. I'm trying to action on YouTube. I get these things now where it's oh, I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but then I know in my mind, right? It's just I'm not putting in enough action behind it. So again, that's one for me. So you could extrapolate that again across your whole life. Put that against your whole life. Where are you questioning yourself where you haven't achieved anything yet? And how can you double down on that area? All it is you need to double down, triple down, forward. Bro, just fucking put in more input. That's literally all it is. That will fix 90% of your issues in 2024. 100%. You want to get fit? Okay, go to the gym every single day, put in more input. You want to get a better business? Okay, put in 10 times the work you're putting in right now. It's really that simple. You don't really need to be that naturally gifted at anything. Again, there's people that are so much fucking stupider than you, like people with 60 to 70 to 80 IQ. I doubt if you're that level of IQ you're watching this, but like, so let's assume that you're over that, because most of the population is. There is somebody dumber than you making more money than you, right? Just because they're so stupid, they don't think about it, they just action. So they're following Newton's third law without even realizing it, just because they're fucking... They might have retardation or something. I don't know. Okay? They're basically on the spectrum, and all they're doing is just fucking action. They can't lose. And they're going to outperform you unless you learn to apply that same rule to your life. So you just need to be putting in input. So figure out the areas across your life where you can maximize the amount of input you're putting in. Okay, and that will fix all your self-doubt, there'll be no loss of momentum, there'll be no decision fatigue, there'll be no lack of clarity, and there'll be no fear of failure because you're too busy actioning on every fucking thing. And again, because you're actioning so much, there has to be an output for that. And if you're putting it in the right places, the output will be great. So these are some of the things that you need to think about. This is something I'm going to massively action upon in my life. And I definitely think it's something you should think about actioning upon, or at least see where it applies to your life. Try it for a month, try it for 2 months. And then, yeah, Fusion, throw out my IG just here, bro. Anyone that has good results with this, anyone that does try this, let me know how you go. Update me daily. Whatever it is, send me a message, and we'll see how it goes. Even if Fusion, if you want to throw up a little like momentum chart where it's like x-axis, y-axis, whatever the fuck it is, start at the bottom. Show how it goes like input, right? And it's like nothing. It's nothing. And then when you say you get to the 30th day or 300th day or whatever it may be, it just like the curve is just like exponential. It just goes straight up. So input, output, curves, however you want to see it, that's pretty much the message I'm trying to get across. Just input across every area of life, double down. And you guys can't lose.